Hi, it's Katie with Picture the Magic. Today we're going to make a personalized greeting card. For this project, you will need a light grip cutting mat, 2 pieces of scrapbook paper or cardstock in the colors of your choice, a black fine point Cricut pen, and a glue stick. Let's go! We want to start by drawing a rectangle. So here on the left-hand side, you see shapes. Click on that. Rectangle isn't an option, so we're going to choose square. And then we'll change its size to be the size that we need. I'm going to go ahead and click this unlock button at the bottom left corner of the shape because I want to change the height and the width, but not proportionally to one another. So up at the top in the middle, you can see size. I want the width to be 11 inches wide, and then I want the height to be 4.25. So when this is folded in half, it will fit a standard A4 envelope. I'm going to change this to be red. We changed color up at the top left side of our screen. You see a big gray square. Click on that and change it to be red. Next, we need to add a score line. That's over here on the left-hand side in shapes as well. Click on shapes and then choose score line. We need to adjust the height of this score line to be 4.25. Again, that's up at the top in the middle. You can just type in that number and click 4.25. I want that to line up at the very center of my card. So the best way to do that is by having my rectangle be positioned at 1 inch. So it shifted over, so that's exactly 1 inch. So I know the middle of my card is going to be 5.5 inches in from the rectangle, or since it started at inch 1, this needs to be at 6.5. Perfect. And then I can highlight both of these by dragging my mouse over them. And then you see a line up at the top in a drop-down menu. Choose Align Vertically. And now my score line and my rectangle are perfectly aligned with each other. I want to attach these so that my maker will cut out the giant rectangle and score it down the middle. So it will recognize that as one cut. We do attach down at the bottom right side where all of our small edit tools are. It's the paperclip one. Click attach. The next thing that I want to do is draw the rectangle for the inside of my card. So again, choose shapes and square. I'm going to change this to be white up at the top left corner. Click on that colored full square and change it to be white. And now again, I'm going to unlock it so that I can change the height and width separately from one another. I want the height of this to be ever so slightly smaller than the red. So the red one was 4.25 inches tall. I'm going to make this 4.15 inches tall. And then I want the width, instead of 5.5, to be 5.4. So it will fit just inside that corner of the card with a tiny bit of red peeking out. I can drag it down below, but there I can see that they will fit together nicely. All right, the next thing we're going to do is add our castle. So we can find that on images on the left-hand side. Click images, and then since I've already purchased the castle, I can find it over here by clicking on filter. If I hadn't purchased the castle already, I would look under categories and scroll down to Disney and then search for castle there. But since I have, I can just filter these to show only my purchased. There's the castle that I want. Select it. You see the green border around it. Then we can insert images down at the bottom right-hand side. Before we worry about the size of this thing, let's change the color. Again, that colorful square up at the top, change it. I'm going to make this white. Now I want to change the contour, which will help me get rid of those little windows in the middle of it. That's down on the right-hand side. Click contour. I want to leave that first castle outline because that's the big outline on the outside, and I just want to get rid of all those tiny windows so that I will have a nice solid silhouette of the castle. Keep clicking on those and scrolling down because there's a lot of them. Once you have them all selected, then you can click Hide All Contours and close out of that window. All right. Now for the placement of this. I want this to be on the front of the card, so we're going to place it to the right of the score line. And obviously it's a little too big right now. So I'm going to drag it to be a little smaller, and I'm just eyeballing what looks good to me about this. Right now I've got it just under 3.8 inches tall, and I think that looks really perfect. Okay, we're ready to add our text. For this first text box on the front, we're going to type, "If we leave now, ... And we need to change this font. So I'm going to select the words, and then up at the font drop-down menu at the top left, click on that little arrow for the drop-down. This font we're using today is called Little White Lies. So I typed in little, there's two options. The second one is the font that I want. So Little White Lies. I need to change this from being a cut to being a draw because I'm actually going to let the Cricut draw this on with pen for me. So right where we saw that little square with all the different colors that we could change our layers colors, right next to that it says line type, and you see cut in a drop-down menu under that. Push that little arrow, and then you see all the different options to perforate, to make a wavy cut, engrave. We just want the second one down, draw. And now you see it just changes the look of that, so it's going to be drawing it. Then in style, which is right kind of next to that font, we want to change it from regular to writing. Perfect. Now I just need to size this so it will fit on my card. You know what? This will be better if I divide it into two lines. So if we and leave now are on two separate lines. These are a little too far apart for my taste, so I'm going to change the line spacing of these. I can do that up at the top middle. I like it at about -3 for this font. Now I'm going to shrink it ever so slightly smaller until it's about 1.2 inches. Or a font size, you know what, let's just change that to be an even 42. And now I can drag it into place. Okay, I am done with the front. Now we're ready to add our text to the inside of our card. Go over here to text and click on that. It'll open a new text box. I'm going to type, "We might make it in," and then enter, "time for fireworks." Exclamation point. You know what? I actually want "in" to be on the second line. So I can just double click on that. It'll open the text box again, and I can make that change. It's very simple. Now I'm going to drag it kind of into place so I can see it, but I want to change the font size. We're going to make this 38-point font. And then I'm going to change the line space to be -3. Now I just place it, I place it on the card where I want it to be. That looks good to me. We've got one more text box. So click on text, it'll open another box. And for this one, we're going to say, "Well, comma, what are you waiting for?" All right, we're going to change the size of this so that it will fit down at the bottom and it'll be smaller than the writing above it. So let's drag it smaller. A little smaller than that. I'm going to get it about 4 inches across, give or take. And then I want to position it over on the right side in the bottom corner of the card. I am happy with the way that this looks. Select "We might make it in time for fireworks, and well, what are you waiting for? And I need to attach them so that it will draw them both the same. Down on the right side, hit that paper clip again, and now they are attached. One more thing we need to do is to connect the if we leave now to the big red square. We need to attach those together, and then we might make it, well, what are you waiting for, to the small white square. So click the attach button for each of those, and now we're ready to make it. All right, so it knows that the castle and the inside need to be on the same white cardstock. So we're going to hit continue, and it will connect our maker. Now we need to set our material. We are using light cardstock for this project, so we'll select that. Place your scrapbook paper onto your mat using the guides to make it straight. Smooth out any wrinkles. Load your Cricut pen into cartridge A and shut it. Then place your mat under the mat guides, hold it gently, and press load. Give it just a moment for your machine to recognize it, and then press the go button. After it's finished with this first page, hit the unload button. Then load your second page in under the mat guides, holding it gently and pressing load. At this point, you'll need to exchange the fine point tip for the single scoring wheel if you have one. Place it in cartridge B, make sure it shuts, and then press go on your machine. When the scoring is complete, remove the scoring wheel and put the fine point blade back where it goes. Snap it shut. Once you press go, you can sit back and watch your Cricut work its magic. When it's done cutting, the load/unload button will blink. Press it to remove your mat. Now, gently remove the cardstock by peeling the mat back, trying not to bend your card. Do the same thing with your second layer. If the castle's stuck to your mat, gently remove it in the same way that you did the cards. To put it all together, gently fold your cardstock, using the score line to help you get a straight, perfect line in the center. Open it up and use a glue stick to apply a thin layer of glue onto the right side of the card. It doesn't need to be perfectly exact, just get it on there and avoid the very edges. Place your inside of the card where you want it and smooth it down. Then apply some glue stick to the back of the castle. Try to get most of the edges and don't leave any big clumps. Put it in place on the front of the card and smooth it gently. Your project is finished.